Welcome, wanderers, to Oriental, North Carolina. It is a beautiful Sunday morning, and we are thankful to be here.
We are. It's just beautiful waking up and seeing the water just glass smooth for a change. I'm going to give you a rundown on the whole trip. And, we got people up already too. Yep. So the quick rundown, this is going to be quick. We started in Nofolk, Connecticut, and George took us off of his dock because it's shallow water.
This was on November the 7th.
It was on November
for
the 7th?
reference.
Okay. So he got us to open water, and then he hopped off the boat onto his other boat, which is really a little smaller than this, but they're picnic style boats, and maybe the same length. They're big boats. And off we went out the north end of Long Island and down the coast, and we made it to Oregon Inlet, and we had to we made it to Atlantic City.
Yes.
Yes, we made it to Atlantic City, surrounded by casinos, and well, I lost a lot of money, but I gambled on this boat. So this boat was in my price range, and it was a gamble, and I knew, owning boats in the past, that, well, you know, it's like owning a house. There is something that constantly breaks. And I bought a used house. That's really what I did. So we got to Atlantic City, and the boat had sat for a long time, which we didn't find out till we got to Connecticut.
We were on it with all of our belongings. Don't lie.
He's like, you brought a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking, yes, we're getting ready to take a voyage from here to Florida.
You're not taking it to the yard? Nope.
So he thought, I think, that we were
taking it to the
driving all
yard.
the way to Connecticut to really move the boat from his house like
Next
around
door.
the corner.
Yeah.
Like there's a fence in between. And that did not happen. So we started down the coast, and that's actually when I realized we had no charts. No.
Oh, yeah.
We had 0 charts to get in any inlet in the East Coast till actually down here. We do have some charts for down here. They're very old, but I would have used them to get into Atlantic City. But we got into Atlantic City. We went under a bridge, and we dropped anchor. And the next morning we installed the Hummingbird, and then we went around the corner, just like George's plan, to Cameraman's docks, and tied up there, thinking we were going to get fuel and get the generator running. So generator guy came out, he cleaned out the ray cores and put them back together, and they were filthy, and the generator ran for, well, when it seemed to always run for at that point, we were used to it, 7 hours. That's 7 hours is about what you get. And then it would shut down. And that's about what we got there. And then it got to the point that even it just wouldn't start. So that had us calling the first mechanic that we called at Cameraman's, who was unavailable. So called him back, and he actually moved us to the Golden Nugget and got us free slippage, which he said, you know, you could have stayed here for free the whole time. And, well, we did. We did.
We don't know what we don't know.
You make mistakes as you go along. And I liken this to college. You go to college to learn. So you can either pay somebody 40 grand and hope you learn everything, which, as I've found in life, when you pay someone to do something, you generally don't learn everything you need to know. Just figure when you start into the job force, you really are going to just have to continue learning, because you're not going to know it. Everyone thinks they know it all, but they don't. And I know that I don't know it all. So I like it when you pay someone that's an expert. If you can find
Teacher.
an expert, pay attention to what they're doing because you're learning. You're paying for learning. You know, you're paying $150 an hour, $100 an hour. You're paying for learning as you go through life. If you want to learn, otherwise you're going to pay the next mechanic to fix something that the first mechanic fixed, and you know nothing about it, so you didn't fix it the second time. So from the first mechanic, I learned how to disassemble the rake cores properly. I use that word, and how to clean them out and put them back together. And he took the magnets off. He says, I think it's a gimmick. Some things in life you're going to find out are just a gimmick. Okay? There's no theoretical way they're going to work. Someone has found a way to explain how this product is so great, and it normally has a big price tag on it. So I didn't really want to go that route. But to fix this, and this is one great thing about this boat you need to understand, and one of the reasons I picked it, everything is easy, relatively easy to get to. Okay, I do air quotes because easy would be I can walk up, I can put a chair down, and I can work on anything.
Easy doesn't mean comfortable.
Correct. The reality is, no matter what job you have, there's always something that's in it just a hard to get spot because, well, something's only so big. So we were able to take the main access holes off, which is a big square plate you can actually crawl into the tanks if you wanted to. We took those off and cleaned the tank, and we were able to clean that 800-gallon tank properly. That got us back on the road. So we left Cameraman's, headed down the coast.
After 3 attempts.
Well, we had 3 attempts there because we would go out and the generator would stop.
We were sea testing, yeah.
And we got back in on our own.
Yeah.
But we went down the coast and went into
Norfolk.
I've forgotten it. It was just so traumatic. We followed freighters into Norfolk
because it was dark the way we do it.
Not having any really great idea of the area, and it was 1 a.m. I basically drove around till daylight, and I took a nap.
Took a nap in front of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
I took a nap in front of the bridge. We were drifting perfectly, so we just drifted across the bay, and I got a 45-minute nap, and then we left there. And we got down and we anchored off at Kitty Hawk for the night, which was beautiful. And slept like a baby. Woke up in the morning and we lost steering in Norfolk. So the steering started acting up in Norfolk. By the time we woke up in Kitty Hawk and got up in the morning, I realized we had no steering. And then I started the motors, and the poor motor, and I have to say, Matthew said, you need new sensors on the radiators. So there's a little gauge on there, and these lights kept going off, and he was like, what's happening is there's a float in there and it's getting stuck. So I wasn't too worried about it until I got up in the morning and started the motors and went down to check them. And well, that stupid sensor was leaking coolant. So I shut the motors back down, and we did the prudent thing. We picked the phone up and we called Cito. And Cito, their guy down here, was on a 6-hour tow, on another tow. So she said, do you want me to call the Coast Guard? I said, please do, and just give them my phone number. And she gave them my phone number, and they called me. And I do need to say, it was getting late in the day by this point because, well, I had spent a lot of time trying to fix the steering. I was trying to get stuff fixed, and I was fixing the steering, and I don't know, a couple other little things that I had to address. So the Coast Guard came out.
And we had the anchor up and everything. We were.
Yes, we lifted the anchor, and Cito was like, "We recommend you anchor." And I said, I like that plan, except for the fact I'm drifting my line. right to Oregon Inlet. I'm drifting perfectly down my line like I'm driving the boat there. And I said, I'm just getting closer to the Coast Guard who's coming to tow us. And that's what I thought. And my brain was, I'm getting closer. That cuts down on time.
It can only be better.
Yes. And we're a huge boat, and we have AIS, which means the Coast Guard can see us from a million miles away and know exactly where we are at every second of any given day. Okay? That's a big plus. When they come to tow you, and I said, I have AIS, he said, fabulous. Yes, we can find you. We don't have to search every boat that's out there in that given area. So they came right out, they tied to us, they towed us in. It gets dark early, but I don't remember how late it was when we got in.
I think it was around 6.
So it was dark already.
I immediately started cooking dinner.
Okay.
So I think it was around 6.
Around 6. My brain says it was dark, so it was like
midnight
1 a.m. when we got in.
No, it was early evening because they were talking about dinner too, so it was dinner time.
So they brought us in, got us tied up to the dock. They towed us at 10 knots, which is what I normally run, burning 0 fuel, which was nice. Some people think I'm going to get a bill. I don't know how that works, but some people agree that there's going to be no bill. And they did a full inspection on the boat. I needed 4 new flares to be compliant. But the guy was like, I've never seen this much safety gear on a boat. We got into those flares, and there's at least 20 parachute flares on this boat. There's 4 smoke cans. There's a fire extinguisher. You pull the handle and drop it in the engine bay.
It's like a hand grenade.
It's like a hand grenade. And there's at least 15 fire extinguishers. He's like, I need to see 2 fire extinguishers. I said, well, let me just open the cabinet. And he's like, good God, you've got a lot of fire extinguishers. And I said, well, apparently they're worried about a fire, but this boat has traveled. You need to understand, this is a commercial boat. It has done commercial work. It has traveled definitely to the Bahamas, because it was originally a turtle research vessel. It's traveled back from the Bahamas. Then it was used for NOAA surveying all up and down the East Coast and all out through the Gulf of Mexico.
To Mexico.
Down through Mexico. And so it's made its rounds at least a quarter of a way around the world already. So taking it around the world is not a huge leap. But it does burn fuel. And so I am understanding why sailboaters, it's so desirable to have a sailboat, because you use the wind and that cuts down, and
wind is free.
Your motors are small. So, the neighbor here was telling us his held like 20 gallons, and that would last like all year. 20 gallons of fuel. Like, the motors are really small. And my motors are not small. They're 1,000 horse each. So there's 2,000 horse in this boat. And it gets up and runs if you can, pour money into it, which I don't. So we got towed in there, and we got the mechanics there. They fixed, and they were great at Safe Harbor.
Yes, and we made a reservation at a different marina. We told the Coast Guard where we were going, and they tied us up to, and we didn't know, the wrong dock.
Yes. And really it wasn't
but it
the
worked
wrong
out.
dock, because they tied us up basically right almost in front of the travel lift.
It worked out.
At Safe Harbor, and Safe Harbor has a full crew, so they can do it all there except any metal work. I do need they're working on their metal work shop. They have been building that place up, and it is a beautiful facility if you need boat work. They are fast, they're efficient,
they're friendly, helpful.
They're friendly, and they really take care of you well there. They've got fuel, they bring it right, just pretty much all of their docks have fuel, so I thought I was going to have to move way up front. And
Holly's like,
terrified.
No, stay right there.
And Holly was like, no, we'll just fill you right there. And I said, thank the Lord above. So we left there. They fixed the steering, which was a steering key. They cut me extra keys.
Fixed something down in the engine room.
They fixed
the day we left.
Oh yeah, so the PTO pump blew a seal and dumped all of the fluid out of the PTO pump into the transmission, which I noticed like the day before us leaving. And they came the next day. They came that day and they looked at it, and then they ordered parts.
And it was
and
almost
they came
4 o'clock.
the next morning, and they put the PTO pump back on. They closed off the lines. They unplugged it, and they got me all ready to go. They emptied the transmission. They refilled the transmission.
2 hours earlier than we thought we would. So
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And they got us back on the road, and we left. Now look, we've already missed our weather window except for half of that day, which I already knew. Like, it was pretty much common knowledge. We should have left 2 days ago to make the weather window. So we left anyways.
And it was beautiful.
Went right back out of Oregon Inlet. The other option was to go through
the Sound.
Yeah, but you went through a very small gap called
Hell's
something
Gate
Channel, and after old schoolhouse something house channel.
Comet Holly.
Once you got out of there, somebody said, then you go through Hell's Gates. Well, that did not sound appealing, because I know I've been inshore enough to know what Hell's Gates probably is, and that is turning like this to get through all these obstacles of shell bars, sandbars, whatever it is that you don't want to drive in. So we went back the safe way, the most prudent, right through Oregon Inlet.
With the line the Coast Guard had drawn for us.
Yes. We already had a line in, so we went right back out that same line, and out into the ocean and down the coast. And we got to Hatteras, and I thought, the seas are building to 14 foot, which, we've already been through. We left Long Island, we were in really big seas that first night. They were huge. So I know the boat can handle it, but I was to the point.
It is not fun.
Handle it. I was like, I can't handle sitting at this helm all night long and
being battered around.
Really, I'm going in Hatteras. So I called and I asked the Coast Guard, I'm going to be coming in Hatteras. This is my first time. Do you have any advice? Oh, hold on, please. And then he came back and he said, well, here's the issue. We've got a couple of buoys that are in the wrong place, which makes it very difficult to safely navigate an inlet. So he said, but we're going to just send an escort out to get you. And I said, well, that's awesome. So we waited. The escort got out there. It took them about 30 minutes. We just sat there and bobbed around. It was definitely uncomfortable, but it wasn't undoable. So we sat there and bobbed around, and they came out, and they were sending a second boat, which I still never understood.
They wanted to try 2 different ways to us.
Because they have 2 different ways
they could have gone
across the bar.
So they did that, because he went one way, and he said, I'm sending out another boat to go blah, blah, blah way.
Okay.
And we'll, let you know when he gets here.
Well, somebody, the boat that went the Blub Blub way, somebody got injured on that boat. So I'm guessing that was not the way to go. That was the rougher side. So he said, what we'd like to do, he said, we've got an injured person, so hold on. We're going to figure this out. And I said, great. We'll just sit here and bob. We got this.
No, we didn't find that out till we went over the bar.
Are you sure?
Yes.
After we went over the bar
is when they transferred the engine.
But he told me when he was sitting there.
Oh, before we went?
What are we waiting for? And he said on the radio, we've got an injured.
Oh, yeah, they had to make sure they didn't need to leave immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So they were trying to figure that out, and then they figured that out, and the other boat still came out. Like, both boats were from here to these shrimp boats from us. And he said
Like
to
right
me,
there.
we've decided that it's going to be much safer for you to go back to Oregon Inlet. And I said, hold on. I had to process this. I said, hold on just a second.
It took us 8 hours to get here.
And I thought for a minute on how to reply, because I was like, that's just not going to happen, Lord. And I said, well, I don't particularly like that plan. I like the original plan where I follow you in. They're there. I mean, like,
They've got to go back.
Everyone could turn their boats and just set in to the inlet at this point. That's how we're lined up. And that's all I can think is, I can see you. I can follow you. This is not rocket science. I just don't know where you've got channels.
Yeah.
Your inlet's notorious for changing, just like Oregon Inlet, which we went in and out of without any fears or worries. It was no huge deal. And he said, hold on. And then he had me switch to 16, which 16 they were recording everything. And he said, so Captain, what you're saying is you want to follow us in the inlet? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, you understand you're accepting all risk, liability, and responsibility? Yes, sir. And I thought to myself, I did that when I bought this boat. The boat sinks. It's all on me. You know, every day we wake up and we go, but did we sink? That's the only thing you really don't want to do is sink. And this boat is built with sea chests and it's bulkheaded, so the likelihood of being able to sink this boat goes down. But just like the Titanic, anything can happen, and if it floats, it can sink. That is the reality of boating life. It's like your house could catch fire.
Let me show you an example if I can get it.
Oh yeah, we got a sunk boat right here. It's got two window
there
ACs.
It is.
It's got two window ACs in the side of it, so you know it's been
see
well
the ACs.
kept.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just like a home on the land, though. Unloved, uncared for, it dilapidates.
Yeah. So we followed the Coast Guard in. He said, wow, you did great. Once we got in, I was like, yeah. And I said, I'm going to just give you guys some room to transfer the seamen. And Coastie. I don't think they like me calling seamen Coasties. I apologize. So I gave them some room, and the next thing I know, luckily we have a transducer, and it's mounted towards the front of the boat. And Pepper said, we're in like
2
5
feet,
foot
5
of water.
feet.
Because we're coming up and down with the waves. So it's changing between the front of the boat between 2 foot and 5 foot. And I said, ooh, I need to back up. So I started backing up closer to them. But that's how quickly the waves just shoved us in shore too far. It doesn't take much. So I backed up towards them. They got the guys swapped over, and then the boat that lost a motor on the way out, it happens to everyone. One of their boats lost a motor, I don't know, on the way out in the heavy seas. The motor dies, and then probably the Coastie that got injured was probably the
working
engine guy.
on the
and he
engine.
probably went downstairs
and got hurt
and fell over in all them heavy seas, because people are like,
we are bruised,
on, and I'm thinking, I'm not going down in the engine bay right now. I don't care the lights on. We got cameras. There's nothing spraying. There's nothing. So it's just got to be that stupid sensor. And we got those same sensors in both motors. If you're a real motor guy, the mechanic said they're like Mann's motors. So Mann's had a little thermostat sending unit with a float in it on the end, and those are, I took one off to reseal it, and those are yucky. I need 2 new ones. So we got towed in to Hatteras, and they got
we got escorted in.
And they got us through all their narrow channels and out to the Sound, and they turned into the Coast Guard station, and he said, anywhere out here.
Watch out for ferries.
Watch out for the ferries, and we got a lot of barge traffic, so make sure when you anchor, you're not in the channel or near the channel. I said, awesome. Made a left, and out we went into Pamlico Sound, dropped the anchor, and, well, the anchor didn't hold. Tons of scope. Should have grabbed easily. It held at the beginning, and then the way it was rough in the sound. It was better than 14-foot seas in the ocean.
Yes, Lord, yes.
But it was like when we anchored off of Kitty Hawk, and off of Kitty Hawk the anchor held all night long.
Sure did.
Right?
Yep.
I don't think we really had any issues there. But in the sound, it kept just letting loose.
There
and
was
then
storm.
re-grabbing.
Yeah.
Now, the first time I got up, I came up, I turned all the electronics back on, and I looked at the line, and I said, well, it's pushing us away from shore. So then when we went down, when it would slip, I wasn't worried. It would rehook. Even if it didn't rehook, we were 25 miles to the other side of the sound. So I knew it wasn't like a immediate, imminent danger. And we were in 17 foot of water, and the sound only gets to 20 foot deep. So it's also not like you're going to drag your anchor where it's not going to touch bottom. Eventually it's going to find something to hold on to, and eventually it did. So good that we decided to use, it was still rough in the morning, so I decided I would use the brand new anchor ball that I just got. I was so excited, $50. I love those deals because I went to West Marine, and the ball itself would have been a couple $100, and then all the other
attachments.
You got to buy all that separate. They did not have a kit, so I found a guy online that had it and went $50. I bought that ball, put it out in the front, went to pull it to the anchor, and suddenly I thought to myself, that anchor's gone. It was like instantaneous.
As soon as we turned.
I can't quite tell you what the boat did, but like it just gave off just a little light pressure, and I thought, that anchor's gone. So I stopped the boat, go up front, start pulling in the anchor line, and immediately I know, well, there's no 60-pound anchor at the end of that thing, not even on a ball, because even on the ball, you get a huge amount of resistance pulling the ball. The anchor will be up there, but sometimes you got to drive, like heavy seas like we were in, you've got to drive the boat towards it,
That's what
and somebody pulls the line in. So I get the line back, and then I chase the ball down, and I told Pepper, okay, drive the boat, and the ball is on the leeward side of us, so as long as we can get it close to the boat, it's going to stay up against the boat. But then we've got to get it worked to the transom where I'm standing with a gaff, because I'm getting this ball back. It's like losing a bobber. You're getting it back, it's floating. Unless it's way up in the trees or the bushes, you're like, man, I'm getting this thing back. We're just going to chase it down with the boat. So we chase it down, we get the ball in the back of the boat, and off we head to here. And that was about a 4.5 hour drive, 40 miles. As soon as she called up here, the guy said, where are you? And we said, nah. And he said, you're like 4 hours away. He knew exactly. So that's the great thing about this marina, which is Oriental Marina. The people here know their stuff.
Yes, they do.
And then
Tom and Joe and Ralph.
And Joe and Ralph. And they had me call when I got out here to the channel. And then they gave me explicit instructions that I almost messed up.
And they watched us. I mean, he said, I see you.
Yes. He said, I see you, which I wish he had said at that point, you're on the wrong side of the red marker. Because it took me just a minute to figure out, oh no.
So we had to go by the aft end of a sailboat.
Yes.
Sharp right-hand turn.
He said, as soon as you get to the red marker 8, make a hard starboard turn and come around the end of that sailboat that's anchored out there in the channel. And I'm going to call it in the channel because I think he's in the channel. I don't know why somebody doesn't go out there and tell him to move.
I don't know how these big boats do it.
Now, this is what it's like Christmas parking. I don't know how some people go to the mall at Christmas, but they do. I mean, the whole mall be filled, all the overflow parking, And they drive around and they find spots. I don't know. So we got around there, and they had me come down through between the commercial boats and
Through all
the commercial
this.
boats. And basically back in here. My first time ever backing in a slip, by the way. And again, I did it without hitting anything. So I'm doing really good at not hitting anything, which is the whole idea. Just don't hit anything. And I got back in here, got everything tied up. And behind us, they have a bar and restaurant. Let me tell you, after a trip like that, the first thing we did is stepped off here, went up there, and got a drink.
Yeah.
I do see why they have bars at the docks, because as soon as you back that boat in, you're like,
We didn't sink.
we didn't sink. We didn't sink. So it's very nice here. They've got Christmas lights all set up, which is really nice when you don't, have a house that's decorated yet. But I bought lights. The problem is I don't want to stick them on this paint.
So we at least
Then I have
wash
to
it.
take them back off because they're more like forever lights. I don't want to, take them back off and then have to use secondary sticky stuff, which is never as good. Never. It never sticks as good. It's always a problem. But that has been our adventure. Did we fix
Thus
anything
far.
here? We
Not
didn't have
yet.
anything to fix.
We just we had to find an anchor. We spent all day yesterday
We got 2
walking
anchors and
up
they're
and
still
down
there.
this road.
They're still on the front of the boat.
Are they?
Yeah. And we pulled out all the other anchor line to flip it end from end.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to get the anchors set back up. And the anchor holder on this actually was special. So I've got to drill a hole in the anchor shank. And then there's a bolt assembly that locks the anchor in place. But when we make the next voyage, we will have 2 anchors on the front of this. And the third anchor that the food truck people, I think, are going to give us.
Today. They're bringing it today.
They're going to bring it today, and we're going to go over there and have breakfast tacos.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
My feet would be thankful.
Okay. We'll do breakfast tacos. They were really good yesterday.
They are good.
I got a steak, and you got the
Mahi,
right?
yeah.
And then we were told
We
we
met
need
someone
the
the shrimp. Yes.
We were told we needed to try the shrimp, so...
Well, they probably get them from next door, so.
They probably do. Yeah, that would make life easy.
So they probably, yeah.
So we're ready for the next part of the adventure, which we've decided is going to be Intercoastal Waterway. So we're going to brave the Intercoastal from here, maybe all the way down to Florida. I don't know. We may pick our days. There was a 54-foot Grand Banks that came in next to us last night.
Brand new off the ship, still had tape on the windows. New.
It was still shrink wrapped. It got shipped, so the whole thing was shrink wrapped, and they were still pulling all the shrink wrap tape off. It was a beautiful boat. Okay, it was $4 million, and it did not come with a tool set with something to fit every nut, bolt, cranny that you need to get to. And that was my only comment. It didn't come with a toolbox because they needed a 7mm wrench, which is an oddball size. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't require a tool set unless you use oddball sizes, and then I think as an owner you need to require a tool set. So I went through all of the tools on here, and let me tell you, George has some custom wrenches on here.
He sure does.
There's a bent 10mm. There's 2 cut wrenches, which is to get into spots that they couldn't get into. So it already has a set of custom tools on board, but I did not have a 7mm either. But somehow they got it fixed last night.
Yeah, 'cause they're gone.
I think the mechanic worked all night. He took the cooler off because the captain said I think he's going to have to take the cooler off to get to it. There's just no other way. So he was taking the cooler off, and he did that, and then he'll sleep today.
Yeah, while they
That's
travel.
why they've got a crew. It's kind of nice because I don't have a mechanic that just works on it all night long, unless it's me, and then I gotta sleep.
And
at
seas
some
have
point.
got to be good for me to want to drive this boat by myself right now.
Yes.
So.
So we're gonna leave here. We're gonna meander down the intercoastal. There is another anchor I'm stopping to get at Moorhead. Pretty much 100% for sure. It's a Guardian, which is a Fortress anchor. It's the same thing. It's just not the polished version. So it saves you some money, but it was still a $1,400 anchor.
Yes.
We looked it up yesterday. So for $400 or $350 or something, I got it down. Like the two anchors out front. One was $75, which is too small. I know it's too small, but it's better to have too small of an anchor than none. It's 44 pounds. And then the other is a 50-pound.
I knocked it over.
Which is basically a Fortress. It just has different flukes. The flukes on the Fortress are super long. So they hold great. And that will probably be our normally used anchor. And then we'll have two other anchors.
Possibly 3 if they give us that one.
Yes, if it's big enough. They didn't know how big it was, and if it's really less than 40 pounds, it's not going to do us any good.
Yeah.
But it's, it's an anchor. And so I just cannot see spending $1,400 for something I'm putting on the bottom and possibly going to lose. And the other thing we should do is engrave all our anchors with a phone number
Like a dog
and a
tag.
name, because if you do that, the divers that find them like to return them.
Yep.
But can you imagine shipping an anchor from here to halfway around the world? I mean, it becomes probably not worth it at that point. I'm just going to say, finders keepers, losers weepers. And I left it on the bottom. I expected I would never get that thing back, so don't sweat it. Sell it and make some good money. Pay for some of your dive equipment, some of your air. I mean, it costs money to do that. But yeah, now we've just got to set the anchors up, clean the boat, and
Work on the sanitation.
Yes, and work on the sanitation. Because we still have no sanitation. And I'm glad I didn't give that guy a deposit.
What guy?
On the sanitation system in Florida. He was like, I'll hold it till December the 18th. Well, we're at the 21st and we're not even close to Florida. We are so far from Florida. Florida seems like unreachable at this point and unattainable. I know it really is, but it just seems like I thought this, and this is the way we put this. I said to Pepper, let's go on vacation and move a boat. And she said, that sounds great. So this is the best vacation ever.
Yes.
And it is the 3-week tour that is now turned into
2 months almost.
Almost 2 months. It'll be 2 months before we get to Florida for sure.
We left on Alabama on November the 4th. It is December the 21st.
So yeah, almost 2 months. It'll be 2 months before we get to Florida. This has been a 2-month ordeal. And people ask, when are you getting? I don't know. I thought 3 weeks. So apparently I have no idea of time, which I've been told that before. You have no idea of time. But I have no idea of time. I don't know. I get there when I get there, and I'll let you know when I get there, or get close, or at least within driving distance. So if I don't make it, you could drive. I mean, no one has offered yet to be like, well, that's only a 5-hour drive. I'll just drive up and see you. Because that's going to take you 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, which is the reality. I'm like, just imagine going 9 miles an hour in your car from Connecticut to Florida. That's the reality.
Yeah.
9 miles an hour. Get in your car and set it. You just put your foot.
You can't even set it that low. So.
No, you can't set your cruise below 20. Trust me, I know. I can get the Subaru adventure vehicle down to 18. You set it at 20, and then you can back it down 2. And that's as slow as it goes, which is slower than the Jeeps, slower than the rental cars we rented. They're all basically set at 20 miles an hour, which is way too high for adventure driving. If you're, look, if your Subaru, I recommend you have your cruise where you can set it at least 5 and then go up from there. Because 5 miles an hour, if you're out there looking for wildlife, is about perfect.
Yep.
5 to 8. We're not in a hurry to get anywhere fast. Oh, they're going into the coffee shop.
Yeah, the family.
But that's it for your brief for today and to getting us to this point. I don't really have much of anything else other than I'm still loving the boat. Even through all of it, through the rough seas, through the breakages, through losing an anchor. And I have to tell you, that night, we anchored out here in the Sound, and that anchor kept catching and not catching. I thought, well, I'm replacing that anchor. So people are like, you lost your anchor? I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
the Lord took it. He said, you probably won't buy another anchor when you see the pricing on anchors unless you just give this one up. So he was like, yeah, get rid of it. And he got rid of it, and we went right here and found 2 anchors, which he is right. I probably never would have bought another anchor having one out there because they had the same anchor that I had on this boat in there with rod and chain. But it's $550, and I thought to myself, well, it's the same anchor. It
That
came
we
with
lost.
the boat. But then I remembered George never anchored, so that could have been the worst anchor ever on the front of this boat, and it was on here because nobody cared, and he only had it on here in the event of a huge emergency. That would be the only time they would have dropped that. They ran aground, lost both motors, were adrift, then you need an anchor. And I agree with Cito. Being adrift is not good unless you've already charted your course and you're drifting in the same place.
Yes.
You are just getting closer.
Thank you, Lord, for the winds that day.
Correct. All the boats are slow. There's no one that's going to reach you really fast out there except the helicopter, period. The boats, the Coast Guard's probably the fastest at 29 knots.
Yeah, because it took us 3 hours to get in.
Yes. And they're not going to tow us at 29.
No. They towed us at 10.
They towed us at 10, which was super comfortable. It was what we were doing to get there. But the Lord works in mysterious ways. You just have to every day get up and realize He's got your back. You just don't need to get, I lost that anchor, and some people would have been jumping up and down and having a massive coronary. I'm like, well, yeah, you're right.
Change of plans.
To buy a new anchor anyways. I didn't like that one, Lord. Yeah. I want that ball back.
The $50 ball.
Now, she keeps going $50 ball. And I agree. But the way I look at that $50 ball is not only is that a $50 ball, that is a hellacious fine to even find one at $50.
I agree with you.
I mean,
but you were off the back of the boat. I'm brand new at this, and you're off the back of the boat with a gaff, and
yeah.
I'm trying to drive the boat in the Sound yesterday with the winds.
She was. It was windy. It was rough. She did great backing up and going forward and trapping the ball down the side of the boat.
And not throwing you out of the back.
And, well, I don't.
I get it, but that's what was happening in my brain at the time.
That's almost even possible.
Well,
Yes. I know. I almost fell offshore off of Oregon Inlet out of my small boat, so I do understand. It was just a simple slip. And a simple slip, you can be right over. Now, she said you don't have your life vest on. And I agree.
I didn't say that, but I
probably should have.
Yes.
But it is very difficult once that thing blows up to swim. And all you would have to do
But I could find you like the
boat.
ball.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Your vision's not fabulous. Yeah, that would be a much bigger target with yellow.
Than trying to find your head above water if you're swimming.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be easier. I agree with you there, 100%. Yeah, but we got the ball back. That is the important lesson. The important lesson is we got the ball back.
I heard, got it! I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Let's go.
It back on the fighting chair. Ready to go. Ready to go. I'd like to find a place on the front.
For the ball?
Yeah, because that was also a bitch carrying it down the side of the boat and all that.
In
wind
those
and waves.
seas, yeah.
So I'd like to, which means we probably need to get some string. We need to string it right. It's supposed to have string, not a turnbuckle there. It's just got a turnbuckle in the clip, and it should have a length of string.
Well, I know where we can get some string.
Yes.
We spent all day down there.
And I may cut some of this and then twist it in. I may braid it in.
Our rope
yeah.
that we got.
That's 1 inch line. We want something heavy, and it's, I got that one end that we broke.
Yeah.
And we still got a ton there. And we're going to be adding 30-foot of chain to that. And then we've got the whole other rope.
Yep.
But I think eventually I am going to look for some yacht anchor line, because that gives stretch, and that will make it much more comfortable when we do anchor. Either that, or I need to make a bridle to soften the ride. But if we could find, some more braided line, the double cord braided something or another, that would give stretch, and that would be much better on the anchor, the boat, everything. And it's nicer on your hands.
Yes. Boat life, you can't keep girl hands.
It does, yeah.
But every callus is worth it, so.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Boat hands.
Well, guys, keep living your ventures. Get out there and enjoy life.
Have a good one.